Okay. So today we will go for some important substitution reaction. The first one, Sandmeyer reaction. So this is a reaction where a diazoxide salt, you take a diazoxide salt, okay, then use copper nucleophilic reagent. So this is copper nucleophilic reagent. Then you will get the product according to the presence of a nucleophile in the copper. That means, suppose you have copper hydroxide, so you will get OH. If you have copper chloride, you will get chlorobenzene. If you have copper bromide, you will get bromobenzene. Or if you have copper cyanide, you will get cyanobenzene. Actually, you have to use a reagent, not a catalyst. You have to use 1:1 stoichiometry. Copper reagent. Okay, let us go for the mechanism. So if you go for the reaction, this is the scheme. Suppose you take a aniline, so you have to first diatize it. Okay, for diatation, you need sodium nitrite in acidic medium, or you can take this HCl, sodium nitrate in the HCl. You will get first diazoxide salt. Okay, write N111N plus. This is benzene, diazoxide salt. Okay. Then you use suppose copper chloride. Then here this is a nucleophile. Okay. So there will loss of this nitrogen, and chlorine will be introduced here. So you will get loss of this. Then you will get this product. That means the Sandmeyer reaction starts from here to here. So you need a diazoxide salt, and for making diazoxide salt, you have to start with the aniline, and then you diatize with sodium nitrate and HCl. You can do it easily in the laboratory. You just take aniline and add HCl, stir for some time, okay, and just lower the temperature to 0 degree by ice bath, and then you add sodium nitrate. You get this. You will get yellow color of this. Then filter the solution. Then add copper chloride drop by drop. You will get the chlorine. Okay, according to the counterpart nucleophile like chloro, nitro, or hydroxy, you will get corresponding product. If here is hydroxy, copper hydroxide, you will get phenol. Okay. So let us go. Detailed mechanism now is clear now. Okay. Duster. Where is duster? बारंबार कही तुम you take HNO2 and HCl. Okay, so you cannot take sodium nitrate. HNO3 will not work, and you can take only sodium nitrate also, but that is not stable. That's why you have to take in situ. Okay, so you can take, instead of this you can take sodium nitrate, because this is not stable, you have to generate in situ. So you take sodium nitrate and HCl. So this combination will generate this. Okay, you take sodium nitrate and HCl. So if you go for sodium nitrate, so you have N double bond O N. Am I correct? This is sodium nitrate. Okay, so here you take HCl means you have H plus available. So first this will be taking this proton and this will convert to OH. Okay, then what you do, use this lone pair of electron of oxygen, so it will be N OH 2 plus. Now this water is a very good living group. Okay, so you have a lone pair of oxygen in the oxygen, this pushes this and this goes out as minus water, so you will get loss of water. So you will get this. Okay, what is this? NO plus. So normally you might be thinking plus should be on nitrogen. That is wrong. Okay, this will be this other way, because if this pushes then this will go. Okay, and this is the very important that reacts with your aniline. See, let us go now. You have now aniline. So you have here N O plus. Am I correct? So you have a lone pair of electron in the nitrogen that will attack this nitrogen. So this get neutralized. Okay. This you have NH. Initially two hydrogen are there. Now you have new bond with this. So you have now plus here. You got it? Okay. So now this hydrogen will be lost to here. So this will be minus, or this hydrogen will be rearranged. Okay. This NH, now this will be double bond N OH. That means this lone pair of oxygen will take this hydrogen. Okay, this will go as H plus, and now this will be O minus. This O minus will take up this hydrogen and make it this. Okay, now again this hydrogen or this lone pair of oxygen will take this hydrogen. This will go here, so this will go as this. Very good living group. Okay, so this will be minus loss of water, and you will have this nitrogen, this. So this is how we call benzene diazenom salt. Why it is salt? You should have plus minus, or H minus, because you have Cl minus, H plus. You are taking here HCl. So H plus is used. Since this is yellow positive charge is not stable, you have to use Cl minus. Okay. So this is the benzene diazenom salt. Okay. And this benzene diazenom salt is not stable. So he need a nucleophile, because the nitrogen will go out as nitrogen gas. Okay. If that happens, then what will happen? So this will be like plus and minus N2. So this is very difficult. This cannot be plus like this. So immediately a nucleophile is needed to attack this. Is it okay? So now what will happen? Normally, if you don't use copper salt, suppose you use only sodium bromide, okay, just you give here if you directly you give sodium bromide, you can do it in laboratory, so you will get immediately this product. But this is not Sandmer reaction. If you use here potassium iodide, if you use potassium iodide, you will get this product, iodine. Okay. If you use water here, so which will be nucleophile? So what happens normally? So nucleophile, any nucleophile that will attack here, so this get neutralized. Okay. But in Sandmer case, this never happens. You have, instead of this sodium bromide, only water or potassium iodide, you have to use copper reagent. That means copper cyanide or copper hydroxide or copper bromide. Got the difference? For general dietitian reaction, you don't need copper salt, copper nucleophile. But in Sandmer reaction, you have to use copper reagent. Then what is the mechanism? This case is very easy, but in copper case, it will go through radical process. Let us see the mechanism again from here. So now I can write this way. You have now this nitrogen, nitrogen, nitrogen. This is plus, and you have counter ion Cl minus. Now suppose you are giving copper chloride anything. Okay. Suppose you are giving copper 1 chloride. Copper 1. You know copper. You can write also copper CuCl2, or it is there also CuCl. This is the oxidation state of copper 2. Here oxidation state of copper is 1. Here, so you use here copper 1 salt. So then what will happen? So copper has a lone pair of electron in go also. It is very easy to take that one. So what will happen? Now copper will give 1 electron to this system, single electron, Copper will give single electron to this, and here already this nitrogen has a lone pair of electron. This nitrogen is positive. Am I correct? Because this is already used 3 plus 1, and this terminal nitrogen has 1 lone pair of electron. So if it gives only single electron, so I write E minus. So this will go and neutralize this positive charge. Okay. So now you will have this and all 1. And it has a lone pair. Now it has another 1 electron, because 1 electron transferred from copper metal, so that copper 1 will get oxidized to copper 2. Am I correct? So you will get plus copper plus and 1 more electron will be there, because copper only gave 1 electron. Okay. So it will be oxidation state will be 2, it will Cl. Is clear now? This is single electron transfer mechanism. Single electron, metal transfers 1 of its electron to this terminal nitrogen, okay, by which this molecule become now radical, okay, and copper is transferred to oxidation number 1 to oxidation number 2. Okay, now what happens? So this copper plus Cl, okay, so you have a halogen atom already, it has a lone pair, okay, so what will happen if it will combine to give Cl, Cu dot, then double bond Cl. See, this particular charge is neutralized by this, because this is Cl minus, what the counter ion there, am I correct, in that salt? Okay, now you have this, now come to this part, so you have this benzene is connected with the N double bond, N, 1 lone pair, 1 single electron, okay. Now what will happen? The nitrogen can be easily eliminated if it requires 1 more electron. So what it will take? That means here you have 2 electrons. Okay, one electron from each, because here you have two electrons. One electron can go here and make triple bond, and it will be like benzene radical. Okay, so you can do this way half, so that this half will be deposited here. Or what you do? Other way, you can take half up to this and half to this. Two electrons are here. So if it happens this, then we will have benzene, and this is radical, where plus you will have N triple bond M. Is clear? Because here you have double bond and one single electron. For N triple bond N, you need one more electron, and that can be taken from this aromatic carbon nitrogen. Two electron out of two electron, take one electron here, or push this way electron, so this will break and it will be radical. And then this benzene radical will be established by this fellow. This benzene radical, already you have this one here, this one. So you have copper 2, and you have Cl. There is a 2 Cl atom. Okay, Cl you have dot. Then what will happen? You will get now this product, this, because this electron 1 and this electron 1. So they will make a bond. Okay, so you will have this copper Cl. Okay, now the copper oxidation state is here 3. So now what will happen? It will rearrange how this one will move to here and this one goes to here. See, this chlorine comes to here and this bond breaks and go to here. So finally you will get chlorine plus you start with copper 1 chloride and you are ending with copper 2 chloride. It is a stoichiometric reaction because you are using stoichiometric amount of copper reagent. That means in a general diatation reaction, so normally you take HNO2, but HNO2 is not available. HNO3 is available, nitric acid. Nitrous acid, it will oxidize. That's why we in situ to generate from sodium nitrate and HCl. So there you are generating NO plus. Am I correct? Now NO plus is electrophilic. Which atom is electrophilic? Nitrogen or oxygen? Nitrogen. Because if it comes to nitrogen, then that it will push that triple bond to neutralize that oxygen. Am I correct? So once NO plus is formed, now that amine group, because you are making diatation, you take the aniline or paramethoxyaniline, any substituted. That aniline will react with this NO plus and it will form diatation salt, diagonal salt. You got it? And the diagonal salt is not stable. If you directly diagonal salt you are giving some nucleophile, suppose sodium bromide, sodium hydroxide, sodium iodide, then you will get directly nucleophilic product. But that is not Sandmeyer reaction. But Sandmeyer reaction must use copper nucleophile instead of general nucleophile. And so for Sandmeyer, suppose you want to make phenol and you have diagonal salt, you have to use copper hydroxide. Am I correct? Copper 1 hydroxide. If you want to make it chlorobenzene, you have to use copper 1 chloride. If you want to make it iodobenzene, so use copper 1 iodide. And if you want to make C1 benzene, so you have to add copper 1 cyanide. And at the end, that copper 1 will be converted to copper 2. And the reaction mechanism that clearly goes with single electron transfer mechanism. So what type of intermediate we are getting? We are getting a radical as well as a cation. So it's called radical cation mechanism. You got it? You might have learned cation and anion, but you didn't know like radical cation. So this is called radical cation. A radical anion I will tell when I will go for Burke reduction. Okay? In the next when I will teach that one. Now is it clear? You understand Sandmeyer reaction? That means diazenom is substituted by which ion? The nucleophile. As you desire, it may be hydroxy, cyano, iodo. That's why it's one type of substitution reaction. So now you got the difference between the normal dilatation reaction, okay, and the Sandmeyer reaction. Clear? Okay, that means, so I can already you are doing, okay. That means, so once you have dilatation, suppose you have pH N triple bond N, this is diagenum salt, okay. So in Sandmeyer, if you use copper bromide, copper 1 bromide, so what will be product? So there will be loss of nitrogen, so you will get pH Br, bromobenzene, am I correct? And in addition to that, you will get copper 2 bromide. What is their copper 2 bromide? CuBr2, that is nothing but CuBr, okay. So same case, the same thing, if I use copper cyanide, okay. So again there will loss of nitrogen, you will get pH Cn plus copper cyanide, okay. And if you use copper chloride, you will have similarly pH Cl plus copper chloride. If you want to do phenol, so you just use copper hydroxide. So there is loss of nitrogen, you will get pH OH plus copper hydroxide, okay. That means for Sandmeyer, you must add a copper nucleophile, okay. Copper will be positive and counterpart always will be negative. That means, see, if there is diagenum salt, you can just you can make many molecules. See, you can make a phenol, you can make a bromobenzene, you can make a cyanobenzene, you can make chlorobenzene. So this is the technique that you will use when you are doing for research. That means, suppose you need chlorobenzene, but your laboratory don't have chlorobenzene, but your laboratory has aniline. So go do it dilatation. Just you can do directly with KCl or go for the Sandmeyer copper chloride. If KCl is not available in the laboratory, what will you use? Copper chloride. You got it or not? After dilatation, there is two ways. Directly you use potassium iodide for iodobenzene, or you use copper iodide. Because suppose in some laboratory, suppose the copper iodide is not available, so go for copper Ki. In some laboratory Ki available and copper iodide not available, so do the normal one. Is clear? Okay. So we can go for a roadmap problem. Is clear now? Suppose you have, what is this called? 2,4,6 trimethyl benzene. Am I correct? Okay. So if you give here nitric acid and sulfuric acid, so what will happen? Nitration. But remember, if you use HNO2 and HCl, then only nitration will occur. See the exception. Suppose you give this, you give HNO2 and HCl, what will you get? If there is no aniline, if there is no NH2 group, if NH2 is there, instead of nitration, that will be diazotized. If nothing is there, so this is good reagent for NO2 insertion. Okay, I will teach when I go for different type of reaction. Okay, and whenever you are using this, that means NO2 will be also introduced because there is no aniline something or NH2 group is not there, so no chance of dilatation. So what will happen? You get this, then you will get and here you put this NO2. Okay. Then you give tin chloride in presence of concentric HCl. You use tin chloride and concentric HCl. So what is the function of this? This will reduce this nitro group to amine. Okay. So this is a roadmap problem. Okay. So whatever you don't know, that will be done in the next classes. This one. Now this nitro group will reduce to amine. Okay. So what do you do? Now you give sodium nitrate and HCl. So this is what reaction? Diation. Here diation will occur. Okay. So you will get this N triple bond N plus Cl minus. So whenever triple bond, you please write like straight line, SP. Some people what they do, they write this way, that is wrong. If you write this way, this, nitrogen, this is totally wrong because this is not linear. It is a SP center, Triple bond means SP center, SP hybridization. Then it will be linear. So this you should to make straight like this. Don't bend. You got it or not? If there is SP hybridization, what will be structure? Linear. So how can you make it bend? So don't write like this. But sometimes you may write this way is okay. If you just don't expand it, just like this, is fine, no problem. Because you are not expanding like this or this. If you are expanding, do this, not this. Clear? Okay. Now what happens? So now you are here now. This is diazenyl chloride salt. Okay. So sometimes also you don't confuse because here also you have 3 methyl group. Okay. It may be methoxy group also. It may be different group. So don't worry. But backbone is there or not? That aniline backbone should be there. Okay. Now you give copper. Okay. Come to here. You give copper cyanide. Then what is this reaction? Copper 1 cyanide? Sandmeyer. Okay. Sandmeyer. This is sometimes also called a name reaction in name of that scientist. So what will happen? What will be the product? So you will, that cyanide will be the nucleophile. So here, this will be converted to cyanide. Okay, or you write this way. This. C triple bond N. Like this also you can write. If you expand it, make it a linear structure. Because C triple bond N, don't bend it. Okay. If you don't want to expand, just write Cn, is no problem. Is clear? Now, if you do hydrolysis, then you do hydrolysis. Then what will happen? So hydrolysis means you just think water, you are adding water. So this one will attack this. This is the nucleophilic point. So this will be here. Now you will have this. So C double bond N minus, this is OH. Now this one will take this one will again do this. So finally you will get an amide. Am I correct? Hydrolysis, you understand? That means addition of water. Addition of water means water is nucleophilic. That lone pair of OH will attack a nucleophilic center. In cyanide, carbon is the best nucleophilic center because that electron will be withdrawn by nitrogen. Subsequently, that nitrogen will take due to high electronegativity. Is clear now? Any doubt? Good. Last one. I'm audible. You. Okay. So this is about how you call Sandmeyer reaction. I'll go next one. So now let us go for Samlet-Hausser reaction. SOMMELET, Samlet-Hausser reaction. Okay, so this is a rearrangement that involves conversion of a benzyl halide to aldehyde. Okay, you have a benzyl halide. So this is benzyl position CH2. Okay, and you put a halide. See benzyl halide, benzyl chloride, and if you put bromine, this is benzyl bromide. Okay, so this is the benzylic position. This is the benzylic position. So this one, if you treat it, react to it at DBU. DBU, no? DBU. So this benzylic position will be converted to a aldehyde. That means whenever you have a benzyl halide, you want to make it aldehyde, you just give DBU. Then what is DBU? So this is the nitrogen, this nitrogen, I think here will be one more nitrogen. Okay, this is DBU. You give DBU, or you can give also sodamide, or sometimes it's called hexamine. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon. Okay, so this is the structure of DBU. So this is a non-nucleophilic base. You already I told difference between nucleophile and base. This is non-nucleophile means it does not add to carbonyl, or it does not undergo any nucleophilic addition. Instead of that, it takes proton also very easily. So it is called non-nucleophilic base. Non-nucleophilic base. So let us see then how the mechanism goes, how it does. Okay. So you have mechanism. So you have this benzyl chloride. That means you have 2 hydrogen in that position. Am I correct? Okay. So you are taking this nitrogen, this nitrogen. Okay. You have a lone pair of electron in each nitrogen. Use this one. So let us go for this. Then what will happen? This bond pair will be deposited on chlorine. Okay. So you will have this hydrogen. So you will have new bond here to here. Oh, it's not visible, no? It's visible. I can write here. I don't know. It's visible. So this nitrogen now become positive because this donates lone pair of electron to remove that chlorine at this benzylic carbon. You can see the valence is 4. Am I correct? Initially it was 3, now it is 4. Okay. So now what will happen? Now the chlorine, we have that chlorine having 3 lone pair of electron, and that will attack, that will take this one of the hydrogen. Okay, so that this will go here. Okay, and then now this will break to here. This bond pair will be deposited here. Then finally, let's see, this. So you have hydrogen here, we have double bond. Now this nitrogen is here. Then we just draw that structure. This nitrogen, this nitrogen. Yeah. Now this is loss. So now there is a loss of HCl because this chlorine takes the hydrogen atom. Okay, and due to that, this is minus. This minus will migrate to here, bond pair. So now the nitrogen will be overloaded. So this bond will break, and this will be deposited here, and this will be then. So now minus. Is it okay? This bond here breaks here. Okay. Okay. So now you have to do then second step is hydrolysis. Now do hydrolysis. Add water. If you add water, so OH minus where it will attack? It will attack here, then only it will neutralize. Am I correct? Okay. This H. Now you have O minus. Sorry, OH you can write. Okay. This one now neutralized to this. Now you have this. We have this is a minus. Now it is neutralized. Okay. Now what will happen? This lone pair will move again. So this will be here. So before that H plus will be taken by this one. Okay. We have a lone pair here. This now this is double bond H. Then here you will get this bond now break. Nitrogen. This is a 6-membered ring. Nitrogen. This nitrogen and this. So you get a benzaldehyde. And this minus end, this will take that proton and will be converted to this. That means you have to use stoichiometric amount of dBu. Okay, that dBu will replace that benzylic halide, that either chlorine, bromine or iodine at benzylic position and make it a aldehyde. That means whenever you have a suppose you need a synthesized benzaldehyde and you don't have benzaldehyde in your laboratory. That means you start it that benzyl chloride or benzyl bromide or benzyl iodide and you take dBu base. Okay, and after you add the base, then you do hydrolysis. So finally you end up with your product. Okay, and that dBu will be opened and go to this way. Is it okay? So this is a very good synthetic procedure because normally if you buy benzaldehyde and keep some time in the air, it will oxidize to benzoic acid. Okay, so for fresh preparation, you can use this method. Is clear? Is it okay? But this is how you call Samlet-Hausser reaction. But another is Samlet-Hausser rearrangement. That is totally different. Samlet-Hausser reaction is one and Samlet-Hausser rearrangement is different. Rearrange. Okay, this is just reacting. So I will tell what is Samlet-Hausser rearrangement. That is totally different from this Samlet-Hausser reaction. Okay. So this is done. Okay. So for rearrangement, so you know Hofmann elimination. Remember last class, Hofmann elimination. Whenever there is a quaternary nitrogen salt and presence of base, or you are using silver iodide and water something, or Ag2O, silver oxide, okay, to generate that base. But here, what do you do? You just take if there is a quaternary nitrogen at benzylic position like this and this, okay. So if you react with sodamide in ammonia, sodamide NH2 in ammonia, then this will be rearranged to this. So this is different. That means in Samlet-Hausser reaction, you are able to generate aldehyde from a benzylic halide. Okay, that means benzyl chloride you convert into benzaldehyde. But in Samlet-Hausser, that rearrangement, the quaternary ammonium salt which are at benzylic position, okay, in presence of sodamide and ammonia, you will get this product. Let us see how the mechanism goes. Mechanism. Okay, so you have this visible, last one visible. Okay, so this is quaternary ammonium salt. So how you will make this quaternary ammonium salt? So first you start with anion dimethyl benzylamine. So you add methyl iodide. So you have a lone pair of electron that will attack here. So this iodine will go out. You will get this. That means this one counter ion is I minus. You have to first prepare, no? Okay. That salt now we give sodamide. Sodamide means this is minus, this is plus. NH2 minus will take the proton. Okay, it will attach good base. So where is the proton available? So you have two proton here. You have other proton also here. Am I correct? And here also you have proton. Okay. So which proton is more acidic? The proton after taking, if that charge is stabilized, that is more acidic. If you take here, it's very difficult, it won't stabilize. Taking aromatic proton is not easy. Okay, that will be taken by only N-beta lithium. I'll tell when I'll go for that smile rearrangement. Okay, so this is not possible. Then this is also minus, but this is not stabilized. If it is minus, if it takes proton, this carbon will be minus, but it is not stable because there is no resonance. But if it takes this, so this will be stabilized. Am I correct? That means out of 3 proton available here, it will take this benzylic proton. Okay, so now this takes this, it's deposited here. This, then this plus, so you have minus. So this minus you can stabilize. See, it will go a long way. So that's why this proton is more acidic in comparison to this proton and this proton. Clear? Clear? You got it? Okay. So now this is stabilized by resonance. Stabilized by resonance. Okay. Now to explain this formation of this product, so what happens? So you have this minus, you have this and this methyl plus. So this will take this proton, so this will be minus. Probable way that it happens, so that you can explain that formation of product. So this, now this will be neutralized plus this, then it will be minus. Am I correct? Okay. Now, so you have here quaternary ammonium center, unity neutralized. So this one will attack here, this bond will migrate here, so this one get neutralized. You got it? This one will attack here, that means see, this bond will shift to here, and so this will break. This. So suppose this is 1, this is 2, 2 is connected to nitrogen 1. Now nitrogen neutralized. Okay. Now the nitrogen atom is neutralized. Now this is not aromatic. So to gain aromaticity, then this will lose the proton and this will be minus. That means this proton will shift to here, this minus will take this proton. So sometimes they write minus plus H plus. That means either a proton will be added or removed. That means it's called adjustment of proton. Proton balance in the reaction. Proton available in the reaction will be taken up the molecule to end up the reaction. That's why you write minus plus H plus. This is the best way to add or remove a proton. Okay, to balance a proton. This one goes here. This. So see here. That means a quaternary ammonium salt. Okay, a quaternary ammonium salt at benzylic position can be converted to amine by reaction with sodamide and ammonia. That is Samlet-Hausser rearrangement. Because this rearranged, this fellow rearranged to this fellow to this position again. You got it or not? Initially, in that side, that at the benzylic position, that comes to this position. Okay, and the first one was reaction. Benzyl halide, you can convert to benzaldehyde in presence of DBU. Okay, and here a quaternary ammonium salt at a benzylic position is rearranged in presence of sodamide and ammonia. Why are you taking ammonia? Suppose you are taking sodium hydroxide, you are taking water, because you have to dissolve first, then there will be formation of Na plus and OH minus. Similarly, the sodamide you have to dissolve in ammonia. Because ammonia NH2 minus and H plus, so common ion will be there, so that it will be easier. Is clear? It's done. Are you writing? Okay. So now this another important problem that comes sometime in NetGate. You have this. You have a 6-membered ring here. This nitrogen. Then you have methoxy here and methoxy here. So here this will give there is a stepwise reaction. First we react with alpha bromo ethyl acetate. Okay, this is what? Ethyl acetate. In alpha position of bromine, you give alpha bromo ethyl acetate, react with this, then you give DBU. So what will be the product? Okay, so DBU there means it might be which reaction? Okay, then it needs what? It needs a quaternary. It may be also, because debut not necessary also. So we will go stepwise. Let us see what happens. This is that's why it's a great question. Okay. So here you have a lone pair. Am I correct? Here also you have lone pair. This will not attack here. Auction lone pair never attack easily. So this attacks here. So this is nucleophilic substitution. Okay, this. So you have MEO, you have this, and this nitrogen. Now you have nitrogen. Now this group is introduced as is correct. This nitrogen attacked here. You see, this is suppose 1, this is 2, this is 1, this is 2. Now this nitrogen lone pair attack this bromine. Bromine is removed. So this nitrogen connected to here. So nitrogen connected to here. Okay. Now nitrogen become quaternary. Okay. Now you are giving a base. DBU is what is this DBU? Non-nucleophilic base. Normally it will take proton. There also it will go to benzyl chloride. That also taken proton from that benzyl position. Okay, it will take proton. Where it will take? So now I will give many options. You have here proton, you have here proton, you have here proton, you have here proton, here, you have here, you have here. Okay. So if you give the base, then it will take proton. So it may take here, it may take here, so it may take also here or here also. So this is very difficult, taking aromatic proton. This is also very difficult. You cannot form a minus near that alkyl. This is also very difficult. Only these two left, this and this. Okay. If it takes here, then it will be minus. If it takes here, this is minus. If here also, then it is stabilized by here. Okay. If here also, then what will happen? It goes here. So it will not be stabilized because this will push. You got it? Am I correct? Because this methoxy, presence of 2-methoxy, increasing electron density in the benzene ring, so it cannot be stabilized. So only this is the position where proton can be taken easily. Okay. So now I come to here. MEO, this is MEO. Okay. This and methyl plus. Now you have vinyl. I just put this way, and you have this OET. You have minus. Okay. Minus. Just I put this side this way. Okay. So now what is your M? This quaternary nitrogen need to be neutralized. Am I correct? How to neutralize? So this, if this happens, if this comes to here, this can be neutralized. If it would be the case, this can form a bond here and this bond will break. Another, this one come to here, this will come to here, this neutralized. Got it? This one attacks this. So this goes here, double bond shifts here, so that this breaks and deposited here. This double bond, this, now N, this is connected to here, this is connected to here. CO, OET, let us count. This is suppose 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is the 4. Okay, this is the 5, this is 7, 8, this is the 3. See, 3, 4 breaks, 3, 4 breaks. Okay, new bond from 7 and 6, new bond 7 and okay, one more will be here. Okay, 6, 6, then this will be 5. That means the ring now break and become larger. See, this is double bond. So this is the final product. In gate, it will give 4 options. What will be product? So first, for nitrogen one pair is there, and there is halogen. Okay, if it is which halogen? This is sp2 or sp3 or sp. sp3. That means nucleophilic substitution is easy. You just remove it. That means now become quaternary. If it is quaternary, you need to neutralize it. Then how to neutralize? Then you have to find out the beta position. This is alpha. This is beta. You take proton from beta and this, then it will break. Or here also same thing. This is the where it come? This comes at alpha position, but here if this attacks this is only, this goes, this is the upper. That means this is also alpha, this is the beta position. Beta position you cannot reach proton. Only this way it is possible. So this is the product formed due to this. Okay, is clear? Okay, one more reaction from gate. You have this. You have N plus this. Okay, we are giving rhodamide and ammonia. Okay, so what will happen? Same thing, Na plus NH2 minus, it will take proton. Okay, already it is quaternary. That means it need to be neutralized. Okay, so where it will take proton? You can take here, you can take here, minus plus, or you can take here also. You can take here also. Okay. So what you do? But finally, the product is something different. You will have this. This is the product. So how it will happen? How to explain how the product is formed here? So this is the product they isolated after reacting sodium and ammonia with this substrate. Okay, this molecule. So it is possible. So you have proton here also. Okay. If it takes this proton, this is this. Minus, this is plus, this attacks here, then this will go here, then this will be neutralized here. This you see here is the double bond. Okay, totally how many members this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 members. Am I correct? So let us go. 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Just I just in zigzag way I have written. So this is one of the GET question from some year. I didn't remember. Okay. It's done. Now I'll go to Smiles reaction. Smiles. So normally it is rearrangement of a aryl sulfone. Rearrangement of aryl sulfone to sulfonic acid. To sulfonic acid in presence of N-butyl lithium. Presence of N-butyl lithium. So for example, we start with this. Two, 4, 6 trimethyl phenyl sulfone. This is sulfone. You know sulfide. DMS you know. See, this is a dimethyl sulfide. Dimethyl sulfide. If I put this oxidize, this is dimethyl sulfoxide. If I again oxidize, again one lone pair of electron is there, sulfone. Okay, already I told, no? What is the reagent I should use for this? How to oxidize dimethyl sulfide to dimethyl sulfoxide? Hydrogen peroxide or MCPBA? I showed that mechanism. One there is nitrogen sulfur. How lone pair is attacking? Remember last class? Okay. This is a very bad. Yes, this is a very bad smell. You know, once you open the dimethyl sulfide, you cannot stay in the room. But you just add hydrogen peroxide. Now it is very nice smell. Again you oxidize. It is very very nice. Like eating that I told the saccharin. No. Sulfonamide structure, remember? But this is like rotenite, very bad. Okay, that's why when you do Sworn oxidation, remember? Sworn oxidation, you are using DMSO, SO2Cl2 something. So DMSO will be converted to dimethyl sulfide. That's why nobody want to use that reaction, because that you will get the aldehyde, alcohol to aldehyde. But the DMSO will be converted to dimethyl sulfide. That is very bad smell. Okay, that is the limitation, that Sworn oxidation. Sworn. Okay. Okay, see here. So this is a like aryl phenyl. This is phenyl. This is a aryl. Whatever may be. It may be 2,4,6 triphenyl or only phenyl or nitro phenyl or methoxyphenyl. This is phenyl. This is a aryl. Aryl means phenyl ring containing some substitution. It may be like this also. There is no issue. But it should have this one, so that it will be easier. 2-toluene. Okay. Now this one, aryl phenyl sulfone, rearranging to sulfonic acid. This. O H. Am I correct? So, in presence of N-butyl lithium followed by hydrolysis. Okay. So let us see the mechanism. So start with this. This. Here also pH. You have methyl. So already I told you N-butyl lithium is a very strong base. What is the structure? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus this is Li plus. Lithium very low size, but you combine with the alkane. This is a good base. The counterpart. N-butyl lithium, you can see it is in a laboratory and some in that laboratory CIC. Okay, that is very strong base. So you need low temperature to do the reaction. That means before adding to a reaction, you have to cool that reaction temperature. Sometimes you have to carry that reaction at a minus 90 degree centigrade, or minus 30 degree, or minimum minus 40 degree, because that is explosive. You can do na minus 90, minus 40. You cannot do. There is a machine. You can go my laboratory. You ask Pradap, he will show you that machine. You can, like heating, you can cool to minus 90 degree. Okay. Equally they are sensible, because if you put finger at 100 degree, it will boil. No. Same thing. If you put finger at a minus 90 degree, also you will feel like that. This nervous system won't work. Okay. Anyway, so now N-butyl lithium. Okay. You have to take base, solvent THF, tetrahydrofuran, or you take diethyl ether. So make sure it does not contain any water, because water will react very vigorously. It will form lithium hydroxide, like lithium aluminum hydride. It will form aluminum hydroxide plus hydrogen will come out. Am I correct? Similarly, same thing. It will form lithium hydroxide like sodium metal. It will burn. That's why make sure whenever doing reaction with this system, it does not contain any water. So you use ether solvent. Okay. Then what will happen? It will now N-butyl lithium. So this is N-butyl lithium can take aromatic proton easily. Remember. Okay. I'll tell it. Suppose you have benzene bromide. Okay, bromobenzene. So you take N-butyl lithium. So you will get Li plus, this minus, plus this one. That means this N-butyl lithium is that much a strong base that only take the aromatic proton, and it will exist as that the pH minus and Li plus. No other base can do this easily. So this is that much strong, because aromatic system generally never interested to give any proton, because that will destabilize. But N-butyl lithium you can do it. Okay. So here you have aromatic proton also. You have this sp3 proton also. So it's easy to take this proton. Okay. So this will take this proton. Say this one. So this is it here. Now minus. Why? This will be stabilized by here. How? See here, this one, this goes to here, this goes to here. Also this can go this way also. Is clear? See, minus charge formed at ortho position, benzylic position by N-butyl lithium would be stabilized by electron withdrawing nature of sulfur. Clear? So now so you will have Okay, methyl was here, this minus this